Hey everybody, how you doing? Tekking and Barry here, back again. I have a massive pimple on my face, so I'm just gonna throw that out there right now. It's very annoying. Anyway, this will be chapter 997 of One Piece. That's right, we only have 17 more chapters left until chapter 1000. I'm just messing with you at this point. Alright, really simple chapter title too, just Flames. Ooh, that's ambiguous. What could that mean, right? Are we gonna have a scene where Kaido just fires off a huge fireball and just destroys the entire island? Well, it does involve fire, and it does involve Kaido, and it does involve the island. It's not the giant mechanical crab gambit that I was hoping it was going to be, but you know what? We'll get to it when we get to it. Okay. So the cover page we have this week is actually really funny because it kind of ties back into the actual chapter in some way. Last chapter at the end, we saw Sanji hearing like a damsel in distress, right? And so he apparently was going to leave Jinbei and Luffy to go save her. And in the cover spread this week, we have Sanji training in like a Buddhist temple, trying to achieve like the state of Zen enlightenment, you know, distance himself from all worldly attachments and things like that. Meanwhile, there's a Tanuki dog priest behind him with a wooden, not a wooden, there's like a bamboo sword, like smacking his noggin every single time that, he loses focus. Something that happens quite a bit, because right outside this particular Buddhist temple, Nami is playing, like, with a beach ball. She's, like, playing beach volleyball out there, you know, bouncing the ball, and I'm sure some other stuff is bouncing too, and Sanji's in the temple just, like, must maintain focus, but he keeps looking outside, and the Tanuki dog priest keeps smacking his head, which honestly, Sanji, you know what? In this chapter, you probably could have needed that Zen training. You could have probably needed a Tanuki dog to, like, smack you on the back of the head and just be like, no! Don't fall for it, okay? Because Sanji, well, we'll find out in a second. So, we continue where we left off. Sanji is booking it into Onigashima, into the depths. He's just, left Jinbei and Luffy, because this is his chivalrous nature, of course. That is Sanji. He hears a woman in distress. Last time we basically heard her like, oh my god, Lord, don't pull my sash, please, it's so naughty, right? And so, Artur was one of the people that mentioned this on Twitter. Like, this is something that actually ties back to traditional Japanese theater. This is like a common trope in those kind of plays where, somebody will like grab a woman's like obi sash on her kimono and pull it, and the woman will actually spin as the sash is coming undone, and this is supposed to like build up tension and drama, of course. It's like a really elaborate thing. It's like, it's like the difference between like real crying and when you're upset and like movie crying, or like over the top, kind of like, oh dear me, brother, how dare I do these horrible acts upon thee? Oh no! It's kind of like that, just like dialed up to like an insane level, right? And as Sanji is rushing toward the source of this sound, he's getting closer and closer, and the way I'm reading this is it's just dialed up more and more like that, to the point where it's no longer like an actual woman in distress, it's like, it's a play. Sorry, Jinbei, you're only in like one panel in this chapter. I don't have time for you today, alright? But anyway, yeah, Sanji's approaching the door, and it's like, oh no, my lord, you're just so naughty! Oh my goodness gracious, whatever shall I do? I hope there's a strapping man out there somewhere in the hallway that will burst forth from this door and save me from this cruel wretch upon this earth! It's kind of like that. It's kind of like, alright, you're really hamming it up here at this point, And so Sanji, of course, he is so swept up in it, he even has a moment where he thinks, oh, is this what sexual harassment is like in the land of Wano? Overly theatrical and very cinematic? It's like, alright, well, it's time for my entrance as the gallant savior. So he goes, kicks the door open. It's like a traditional, like it's a sliding door, but he just kicks that damn thing open, and he's like, I'm here to save you! Kick! And then the second that happens, he gets caught in a giant spider web. They literally catch Sanji in a spider web of lechery. It's just like, alright, here's what we're gonna do, okay? We're gonna set up this setup here. We're gonna set up the setup where we're gonna play this whole like, oh no, you're untying my obi sash. Oh, it's so naughty. We are literally going to put a spider web right next to the door. So whoever opens the door, whoever crashes through the door is gonna get caught, alright? This is literally the equivalent of taking, like, I remember I used to do this a few times as a kid. My dad is into hunting and fishing and stuff, okay? So there was one time as a kid, my dad dad was teaching me how to make like a, you know, you take a box and a stick and just like a simple trap, you know, kind of thing. And we were hooking it up in the backyard to see if we could catch like a squirrel or something, right? I was a little kid. And, you know, so we put like, you know, a little corn or like some nuts or something underneath it to draw animals to it. You know, he was like teaching me about trapping. And this is hilarious because this is the equivalent of doing that with Sanji. This is the equivalent of getting like a giant box and just either putting like a porno magazine under it, or is like just take out like a recording and just be like click. It's like, oh no, this can't be done. It's so naughty. How dare you? And Sanji would just be like, where is it? And just clicks it and the trap falls. So yeah, he just bursts through this door. There's a spider net right there, spider web, giant one. He gets caught, and of course the two people, there was the man that was like unfurling the obi sash, he's in on it, and the woman is also on it, and she goes even more dramatic with it, where she begins to spin even more, like the sash is being undone, and she's like, oh no, oh no, oh no, oh no, 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 and she's like spinning around it, and boom, they both strike Sanji at the same time while he's immobilized in the net, and so they both hit him, he drops, he's all tied up. The woman, I believe we've actually seen before. I believe this is Sarah Hebi, who was the teacher, remember? Like at the very beginning of the Wano arc, we kind of like were in the flower capital and looking around, and there was that classroom where all the children of Wano were being taught about how great Kurozumi Orochi is, and how bad the Kozuki clan is, and Sarah Hebi was their teacher. She was the one that had, like, the snake neck. You know, the snake neck came out and, like, she kind of like, ah, yes, children, but never speak the name of the Kozuki, ah. Like, all Orochimaru scary, right? And so, we found out her name in a SBS, I believe, and we also found out at that point she was a gifter. So she works for Kaido, of course, but in, like, a little bit of a different job. She doesn't have the job of, like, being a pleasure or, like, a headliner. Her job as a gifter is to go out and spread, like, the Kozuki, like, propaganda, so to speak. She was a teacher for like the children of Wano. Okay, I'm pretty sure it's her. It could have been somebody else, but they look very similar. And then the guy in question, I thought it was Orochi for a moment there, because the silhouette kind of was like Orochi's height, and the dude kind of has the same basic body type, you know, the same kind of clothing, same kind of stature in the head, and so I thought it was Orochi, but no, it was not. In fact, it was just some other random dude. He's got black teeth. He might be the origin of the spider web, actually, because I think the woman has like a snake smile, because she was able to turn her head into like a snake neck sort of thing. A little bit different from all the other smiles we've seen, but it was confirmed she's a gifter. So at any rate, they both strike Sanji. He goes down, and then they, you know, other people kind of approach. They all look like, you know, like there's like, I think one that looks like a Yuki-onna, and there's another one that looked like other kinds of yokai, and they're going through the bounty posters, and they see Sanji's, and they're like, oh, this is Vinsmoke Sanji, bounty of 330 million. We landed a big fish today in that trap. I can't believe that thing worked. You know, actually, they don't say that. They actually say that that's worked plenty of times before that. Like, this was a go-ahead. This was a standard. It's like, oh yeah, there's a bunch of rebels fighting in the hallway down below in the Golden Kagura Festival. I know what we'll do. Let's do the old, like, the obi sash removed and set up a spider web and, you know, pip pip cheerio, that's all she wrote, right? This has apparently worked before on a lot of people. Makes sense when you think about it, because a lot of the samurai of Wano probably have like a very chivalrous kind of nature, like defend the downtrodden kind of thing, and so they figured this would definitely work. But it probably didn't work as well as it did, because it's like, oh wow, we just didn't get a samurai, we got Sanji Vinsmoke. You know, this is a foreigner who has a bounty of 330 million. This is crazy. I was actually expecting, because this whole time Sanji, like when they were rushing through the hallways fighting against all the headliners and stuff, the headliners would be like, that's Straw Hat Luffy, and that's First Son of the Sea, Jinbei over there, you know, and just like, it's like, why didn't you talk about Blackleg Sanji, huh? Why didn't you mention me? I was so expecting at this moment when they said, oh man, this is Sanji Vinsmoke, 330 million bounty, we caught ourselves a big fish today. I thought they, you know, Sanji was going to be on the ground like, let me go, you stupid. Oh, well, actually, thank you for the compliment. Yes, I am pretty awesome, I know that, of course, 330 million. Keep in mind, it's 10 million higher than that stupid swordsman that's fighting downstairs, but seriously, let me go. Sanji doesn't bring that up. Sanji's actually really, really pissed, because this is like something on the level of like, if you were, you know, Sanji is a chef, of course, if you were to disrespect the kitchen, like Wansei did, for example, or if you were to use, you know, food as a weapon and things, like, you know, how pissed he got at Wansei there. This is something equivalent to that, where they were using, like they were pretending that a woman was in distress that needed saving, and in order to lure him in. So he's really fuming right now at that. Like, that's an unforgivable thing. You just don't do that, right? And it's revealed the mastermind of this whole thing, that Lord Sanji there, the underlings that caught him, worked directly under Black Maria, one of the members of the Tobiropo. Okay, so I could see this coming. I felt like, all right, the writing was on the wall here. The big question is, of course, how is Sanji gonna fight Black Maria? Not just for the fact that right now he is tied up in a spider web and getting the crap beat out of him on the floor, but also Black Maria is a woman. She's a giant woman, so it's like that's gonna be kind of difficult for Sanji. I was thinking we were probably gonna do something similar from what happened with Khalifa back at Eni's lobby, where Sanji tries to fight against Khalifa, gets defeated, and then Nami has to step up and defeat Khalifa. So in this instance, maybe not Nami, because Nami and Usopp are dealing with Ulti in page 1. Hopefully they'll still continue that fight. I was thinking, okay, well, Robin's really not doing anything crazy right now, right? I mean, she's down below and dealing with that Ice Oni virus, you know, infecting everybody, but, you know, that's nothing that important. So I was thinking maybe we could have a scene here where we have Robin and Sanji teaming up to fight against Black Maria. That would be really cool. I'm thinking, you know, it's also possible, I don't know if you guys, how you feel about this, but maybe Oda will try to expand a little bit more on, like, Sanji's chivalry and stuff. Like, I'm trying to, like, put it in a different sense of, like, what happens if, let's say Robin actually does show up to help Sanji, alright? And so Sanji's on the ground, and let's say Robin does something to get Sanji free. Now, there's, like, other men that are helping out Black Maria, too, like that Lord guy, and so maybe Sanji will beat them down. But what happens if it gets to the point where Black Maria transforms into a Gigantosaurus Rex or something, whatever her dinosaur form is going to be, and is about to kill Robin? And it's a situation where it's like, Sanji, unless you do something, unless you fight this woman, try to protect Robin, she's gonna die. Alright, so I don't know if Oda's gonna go down that road with it, of just, like, you know, testing Sanji's chivalry. Like, how is this actually going to go? If it's a choice between, like, alright, you don't want to kick a woman, well, then Robin's going to die then. You know, it might be something like that, and we might have to, Sanji might have to be like, I don't know what to do. He might have a flashback to Zeph and stuff, because that's the reason why he can't hurt a woman. Like, it was beaten into him by Zeph, essentially, and it's just like, it's not even like a conscious decision for him. It's like he just physically can't do it. But the stakes might get really high here, so I'm just curious on how Oda's going to take it. But at any rate, Black Maria's there. She is super chill. She has her smoking pipe, and she's just there, and all her, like, minions are underneath her, and she's like, oh, you're not going to turn our banquet hall into the chaos down below. You could feel like Black Maria kind of has, like, a little bit more of a class here. She's just like, you know, oh, those barbarians can fight downstairs, all their heart's content. You know, Queen with his Ice Oni crap, and King and all the other smile users, but we have a little bit more of, like, eloquence or sophistication here. I'm not going to have my banquet hall turned into, like, a ravaged, you know, just, you know, like a destitute of destruction because, you know, you guys are fighting all over the place. We're not going to do that here, right? And so she kind of sets it up like that, and she's really chill about it, and she's like, oh, little boy, you know, do you think you can fight me, or do you think that you're a chance to deal with us? And Sanji's like, don't insult me by calling me a boy, you know, I'm a man! And freaking Black Maria's like, oh, by the way, do you like me? And of course, he's like, Sanji's like, when I get out of here, I'm gonna... And he looks up and sees Black Maria and just like, I love you! So it's like, okay... Okay, here we go. Yeah, this is the thing that I was curious about. And a lot of people, too, when I'm saying, like, guys, I'm thinking Sanji's going to have a run-in with Black Maria. You know, the Straw Hats are going to go up against the Tobiropo. We got Frankie against Sasaki. You know, Nami and Usopp against Ulti in page 1. Who's who? Who's going to fight who's who? I guess the only people that are left, I'm kind of hoping that Zoro is just kind of going to jump over all that, and Zoro's going to directly go to maybe one of the Calamities, or to Kaido specifically. So, if that's the case, we got Jinbei and Luffy, I think, also might very well go up against Kaido, so they might not have a fight. If anything, you know what? Yeah, I could see that. I could see Luffy and Jinbei going up against Who's Who, because Who's Who, I think, is the oldest member of the Tobiropo. He might very well be the absolute strongest. So that'd be cool to see Luffy and Jinbei fight Who's Who first, but then that would kind of, like, weaken Luffy for the fight with Kaido. That's the only thing. I guess we could have Jinbei fight against Who's Who and Luffy go on ahead, but I'd like somebody else to team up. So maybe after Chopper takes care of the Ice Oni virus, and Brook's there too, maybe we could have Brook and Chopper fight against Who's Who. Maybe then Jinbei could help out them too. too. Like, so it's 3 against 1 there. Because, you know, at the end of the day, there's only 6 members of the Toby Roppo. Actually, there's only 5 now because Drake defected. So they only got 5 members of the Toby Roppo, and there's 10 Straw Hats. Even if you exclude, like, Luffy and Zoro, because they're obviously going to go up against Kaido or the Calamities, you gotta double up these fights here. So that's why I'm thinking Sanji and Robin, maybe then Chopper, Brook, and Jinbei will all up against Who's Who, because he might be the strongest, and then, you know, Frankie against Sasaki. So, yeah, a lot of people, though, are like, you know, Sanji can't fight Black Maria, you know, that's not how Sanji fights. It's been established. And I'm like, all right, well, Oda might add some character development here and be like, okay, well, we'll see where this goes. But at any rate, yeah, Sanji is trapped there. We cut back over to Luffy and Jinbei. They're still running up the hallway, and they're on the 3rd floor now, and they were heading up the stairs earlier, and Luffy's just like, where'd Sanji go? And Jinbei's like, he ran off with a sense of determination in his eyes. Godspeed, Sanji. Godspeed. He doesn't say that, but he's like, he ran off somewhere. He looked really pissed. I don't know what's up with him. You know more than I do, Luffy. Luffy's like, whatever. So now we get introduced to 2 new headliners. We got Mizurka and Poker. Now, Mizurka, that's a Polish card game. I just found out about today. But Poker, of course, I mean, that's, it's poker. It's like Texas Hold'em, you know? That's something that was actually created in the United States, and I've played plenty of hands of poker in my day. I'm like Terrence J. Darby. I'm not Terrence. Oh, I caught it. Maybe I am Dobby. I don't know. So yeah, Oda's just continuing the kind of running gag where every floor Luffy ends up on trying to get to Kaido to the top of the steps, they're gonna run into some wacky and crazy headliners, okay? So this time, we have Mizurka, who is a woman that has the power of a gorilla smile, okay? And the way that her smile was activated, was she fused with the gorilla, is actually also not very good. It seems like, hold on, let me just, okay. Alright, so the way I'm looking at this, the gorilla has no legs, okay? The gorilla takes up most of the body, but it's still the woman's legs, and then it goes up, and then right where the gorilla's, like, stomach is where the woman's, like, head is. Her arms, she doesn't have her arms anymore. Her arms are, like, fused into the gorilla. So it's a giant gorilla with the woman's legs. The woman has no arms, but her, like, you know, her stomach, her chest, her head is all poking out of the gorilla's stomach, and then the gorilla is even taller than that on top of her and, you know, eating a banana, and so much like the banana crumbs are, like, getting in her hair. So she's like, you know, Gori Shiro, stop that! You're getting crumbs all over me! But she can't swipe them away. She doesn't have arms. She's just like, Gorilla Shiro, stop it! I don't know how the hell you successfully train with this, or you reach the rank of headliner with this kind of, because that seems like really difficult. Like, alright, I don't have my arms anymore. Maybe she can control the gorilla's arms to an extent, but it seems like the gorilla is the one that's kind of in full control here, and the gorilla seems to have its own, like, agency. So the gorilla's, like, eating a banana and, like, scratching its stomach, but it's like her face is its stomach. So it's like, stop it, you know? So this seems very awkward. But Poker, anyway. Poker, alright, given all the other headliners we've seen up until now, Poker's probably is least the most practical. And that's not saying much, but it's at least okay. He's a rattlesnake smile user, so that's pretty cool. Rattlesnake, he's got venom, he's got, you know, a snake body, okay? What it is that his left leg, at the end of his left leg, where his foot should be, is the snake's head. Alright, and then it slithers up, so he doesn't have a leg, it's just a snake body for a leg. And then the snake body goes into his actual body. He has part of the snake's body coming out of one shoulder over to the other one, so it kind of resembles like when Luffy ever goes into his Gear 4th, and he's got like that steam behind him that's making that like Neo, like the statue kind of stance, you know? He's always got like that ribbon behind him. It's kind of like that, where he's got like the snake body coming out of one shoulder, over his head, into the other one, so he's always got snake like an arch coming out of him, and then it goes down to his other body, and then his other leg is the snake body, and then at the very end where his right foot should be is the rattle of the rattlesnake. Didn't I just say 5 seconds ago? This guy looks like the most battle ready, but he is. I mean, he is. He's got snakes for legs. That's what's his power. He's got snakes for legs. You know, he's got a snake head on his left foot, and he's got the rattle on his right foot, and he's got a snake body coming out of him. But other than that, he's got like a snake tongue and stuff. Maybe he can bite people with his actual mouth and venom, or, you know, or he can like snake kick, snake venom kick. You know, maybe something like that. I don't know. Venom kick. Maybe something like that. I don't know. We'll find out. But at any rate, they're looking at all of the, you know, the wanted posters as well, like, oh man, Straw Hat Luffy's coming this way. This is gonna be crazy, you know, when he gets here, we're gonna capture him, we're gonna be promoted to Toby Roppo for sure, you know? I still love, though, how all of the headliners have this idea in their head. Like, man, all we gotta do is take out this pirate that's considered a 5th emperor with a 1.5 billion berry bounty. All we gotta do is take him out, and we're Toby Roppo easy. Like, they say it so nonchalantly. They're all kind of like this, where it's just like, oh, we could take this guy out, no problem. He'll rue the day he clashed with Poker and Mizurka. Yeah, I don't think you guys are gonna be the ones to take down Luffy, but hey, I like your moxie. You're at least coming to the table with a little bit of ambition. I like that, sure, okay. The funniest thing is, they don't fight against Luffy and Jinbei. So Oda literally teased it. He's just like, you know what? I want to draw these characters because they're wacky. She's got a gorilla coming out of her body or out of her back. She doesn't have arms. This guy has rattlesnakes for feet. And so they're up there like, can't wait for the Straw Hats. And then Luffy and Jinbei, they're running, and the samurai are like, hey, Straw Hat, come over here. He's like, what? We made a ladder. Like, oh, so the samurai, keep in mind, there's 5,000-something samurai running around also trying to help out Luffy and Jinbei as much as possible. They made a makeshift ladder to just get them to the next level. Like, I guess to the 4th level, just go straight up, like through the ceiling. And so Luffy's like, oh, thanks, guys. And then he starts climbing the ladder. I guess Jinbei starts climbing the ladder, too. And we cut over to Mizurka and Poker, and they're up on the topper level, and they're just like, where the hell are they? We have these cool designs and everything. I have snake for feet. They're not even going to show up. So, yeah, I don't know if we're ever going to address this again. We might just never go back to these people. It might just be Oda, like, I really want to draw these headliners. You have to imagine how many freaking designs Oda probably has for these headliners. He probably has a whole freaking book. He designed every single member of Big Mom's family. That's like 80-something characters that we didn't even get to see. I don't even know if we got to see half of them in the actual manga. In the anime, we got to see a lot more. But in the manga, I don't even know if we saw half of all of Big Mom's kids, like, drawn in, like, actually you could see in a way, maybe way in the background or something. So you know Oda probably has a whole freaking sketchbook filled with, like, wacky freaking animal-human hybrid designs, right? And so he's just like, you know, I'm just gonna bust in, this is Poker, this is Mizurka, alright, you know, they're not actually gonna fight Luffy, but I'll just throw them in there, they look cool. So, alright, so that's pretty funny there. We now cut back over to the live stage, okay? This is where shit gets real. Seriously. Okay, so, Big Mom, of course, breaks in, and then she immediately rockets toward the ceiling on Zeus. Okay, so she goes through the giant hole, she's going back up to the roof, and Zoro is kind of looking up, and he's kind of like a sigh of relief as well. Like, okay, I mean, she's a Yonko, it's good that we don't have to deal with her right now, but damn it, I still need to get to the ceiling. Zoro's looking up, and at the same time he's looking up and Big Mom enters the gap in the ceiling, he notices something fall. And we don't get to see what it is right now, but he just sees something, just like a piece of rubble or something, just falling out of the hole and falling to the ground. And Zoro's just kind of like, he's only got the one eye, but that one eye, it's like telescopic, so he knows exactly what it is. And when it hits the ground, Zoro is like he's pissed, right? He's ready to go. And so meanwhile, you still have absolute chaos on this floor. You know, Chopper's running around half covered in ice, Brooks behind him is like, somebody find the antibody, Apu's running around. Zoro has finally had enough of this shit. He takes out Wado Ichimonji, one sword style. This is like a flip switches in Zoro's head. Like, you know, a couple minutes ago, it was urgent. You know, you had to get your... You know, Zoro, find Apu, defeat him, get the antibody. Like, Zoro's like, okay, Chopper. But it's like a flip switch. It's just like, I'm done playing games on this floor. Like, it's playtime is over. I'm gonna kill him and get this because I need to move on. So he just like, shing! And then just... That was easy. And you might be asking, why didn't Zoro just do that before? And it's like, well, he wasn't sufficiently pissed. And so he just, like, one sword style, just cuts down Apu. Apu drops, you know, flings the antibody up in the air. Zoro's just like, shing, here you go, Chopper, is that good? And Chopper's like, yeah, thanks, Zoro, I can do it. He's like, I know you can, Doc. All right, I gotta get out of here. So that was it. That was all it took. So Apu is defeated, or at least he's cut down by Zoro. Not a lot of people could get cut down by Zoro and just get back up ready for a fight. I mean, even Horty Jones barely managed to do that, and that was with the energy steroid, you know what I mean? So it's like, yeah, I don't know if Apu's just gonna get back up after this, or maybe he could be healed in some way, or if not, this is just the end of Apu for this arc. He might show up later, maybe he'll escape Onigashima and get the hell out of there, and he's just like, I'll get my revenge someday, Straw Hats. But if otherwise, yeah, he got sliced down by Zoro, and it wasn't even like regular Zoro. It was pissed off Zoro in like kind of like a full page, kind of like, you know, he's cut down, right? And so he's gonna at least be out for a while. Drake was fighting him. Drake was like fighting Apu when Zoro cut him down, and Drake's just like, whoa, all right. Oh yeah, glad I'm not on their side anymore. I don't want to get cut down by that crap. And so now we get a little bit of an explanation on what Chopper figured out about the Ice Oni virus, okay? So get this. The secret to stalling the Ice Oni virus from spreading is fire. Fire. Are you with me, Barry? Fire. So yeah. If any of these people played freaking Pokemon, they would be onto this right now, you know? Fire beats ice. Or if you just know anything about, like, reality, you know, fire melts ice. Okay, so we have Brook actually running around holding up like a flaming torch right next to Chopper's body. Not like enough to burn him, but just kind of like keeping the heat close to his body. And Chopper's only like halfway infected. And a lot of other people, like, oh, Masa is already like a raging demon at this point, right? One of the, you know, Yakuza leaders from the Udon region. He's like raging around. And so Hyorogoro is trying to deal with him. But then Chopper kind of stands up on a pedestal and he's like, everybody, you need to listen to me. All right, calm down. I know you're all turning into Ice Onis and devouring each other, but just listen up, okay? First thing, fire. Get a torch, get some kind of open flame, some kind of heat source. Keep it close to your body. It'll slow the spread. The virus has fused with a gas that rapidly freezes your body. That is probably the most scientific explanation we are going to get for this thing. So in case you're curious, in case you were like, man, I wonder how this gas or this virus works, turning you into an ice demon and having you rampage, you know, getting ice horns and ice fangs and ice claws and turning into a crazy raging monster. It's gas fused with a virus. That's all we're going to get. That might kind of explain where the body freezes, but that doesn't explain how come it's always the same effect. How come they grow horns and fangs? Like, how is that programmed into the whatever? It doesn't matter. So anyway, though, Chopper is like, I don't care whether or not you're friend or your foe, if you're a samurai or if you're working for the, you know, the Kaido or, you know, Orochi's group. I don't care. If you are affected with this virus, I will save you because I am a doctor. That is what doctors do. I took an oath. A Hippocratic oath, damn it! I will make sure no one dies here! And he also kind of has a, like a little jab at Queen as well. He's like, you know, do not let this guy win. This, like, crazy man that, like, set up this virus and everything, you know, I'm not gonna let his actions kill anybody. I'm sure some people are probably already dead, but I'm not gonna let anybody kill him kill anybody else in this festival hall, right? And so I'll make enough antibodies for everybody. Not sure how he's gonna do that, how he's gonna reproduce this antibody, like now, like not in an hour, Chopper, not in a few days, or like give me some research, give me 10 minutes. No, this is like, it has to be like now, okay? Like I'm just gonna take this and rummage around in my the virus cannon idea. Is that still out there? Is like I have this device that Frankie made. I put it in and it duplicates the virus of duplicates the antibody of whatever I put in, and I just fire it out like a bunch of syringes to cure everybody. That's, yeah, I don't know how he's gonna do this, but at least they have a way to slow it down, so it gives them some extra time. But I don't know if everybody, I mean, they still have ice demons to deal with, right? I think the ice demons that are turned, I don't know if fire is going to help them, or if they're gonna, like, you know, regress back to where they were, or if they're gonna calm down if they're exposed to fire. So everybody, I mean, friend and foe alike, is kind of like, yeah, that's a good idea. You know, magical talking tanuki dog, let's go with that. So I think most people, even like Hote, you know, the leader of the Mimawari Gumi that worked for Orochi and now for Kaido, like, even the enemies are probably going to be like, all right, this is psychotic what freaking Queen did, you know, just firing these shots into the crowd, you know. I don't want to die. I don't want my friends to die. So, okay, we'll listen to the Tanuki dog. And hey, maybe at the end of the day, maybe if Chopper manages to cure them, maybe like the Mimawari Gumi and the Oniwabanshu, they might be like, all right, screw this. We were working for Orochi, and that gig wasn't exactly the best. You know, he was cruelly oppressing all of Wano, but, you know, we still lived okay, so we just kind of rolled with it. And now we pledged allegiance to Kaido, because if we didn't, we were gonna die, right? Hote and the Oniwabanshu were like, we pledge allegiance to Kaido. Yeah, well, Pirate Paradise. It's like, see how this goes. But if this is the way things are gonna be, like Queen just like firing shots like indiscriminately, if this is the world Kaido's gonna create, like this Pirate Paradise and stuff, if we have to deal with this shit, the Mimawari Gumi might just be like, you know what? Thanks for curing us, Tanuki dog. Screw it, we're on your side now, all right? We're not, like, allies, but it's like, we can't... Orochi's dead, and we can't let Kaido rule the country, so let's just work together for right now to help take down all the calamities and everybody. So we might actually have, like, Hote and the Mimawari Gumi team up with the Straw Hats to help fight against Queen or some shit. You know, that might actually be really cool to see. Or maybe Drake and the Mimawari Gumi are gonna fight against Queen, because I don't think they're just gonna be like, yeah, all right, yeah, Queen tried to kill us, and you healed us, but, you know, we still gotta work for Kaido. We're nothing if not loyal. You know, I don't think it's gonna be like that. I think they're definitely gonna get a lot more people on their side now after this. So Queen is up there on the balcony still, kind of like removed from all this, and he loads his round and his minigun for another like attack, and he's like, that stupid reindeer dog, you know, spilling the beans to everybody, you know, screw this, I'm gonna fire some more rounds. And at that exact moment, the entire balcony that he's standing on just gets like two inches to his right. It's just boom, big explosion. Zoro takes out his sword and just slices right up the freaking side of the hall. Okay, so Queen is like a few stories up, but like the entire thing just gets shredded, right? And Queen almost falls down, and Zoro is even more pissed now. He's just like, what is this bull crap? You know, I did not come here to play these games. I came here to fight Kaido. He's supposed to be the strongest in the world, right? I don't have time for these stupid games, Isoni viruses running around, you know, allegiances. I came to this island to slice down a damn dragon duck, and that is what I'm doing, damn it! So Zoro is determined. You feel like Zoro got into the battle and he's fighting for a little while, and he's just like, wait a second. Zoro took a moment, he stepped back for a bit, and he's like, what am I doing here again? I'm chasing down a poo to get an antibody to give to Chopper to cure all this crap, and then there's Queen up there, I gotta slice it. What am I doing? I'm here to kill Kaido, right? Like, let's just hurry this up. Let's get to this point, right? And at this exact moment, when Zoro is shouting to the heavens at Queen after he just sliced the damn balcony, all of a sudden, like at the crescendo of Zoro's yell, like, I didn't come here to play these stupid games! Boom! Freaking... That happens! Freaking earthquake! Just the entire damn festival hall just shakes and rattles and shifts like Whitebeard rose from the grave, and man is he freaking groggy. He's like, oh man, boom! You know, it's like, is Blackbeard here? Like, what's going on? And everybody, like, Brooke even says, like, oh, did Zoro use the, you know, the Conqueror's Haki, the color of the Supreme Kings? And Zoro's just, he's like in the middle of this chaos, like he's super chill. He's like, yeah, there's an earthquake happening, but Zoro's like, he's just like, okay, you know that wasn't me. I'm like, do we though? Like, Zoro's yelling in a fit of rage, and then the whole damn hall begins to shake. Right after, by the way, Zoro just made this huge cut on the damn building that almost sliced a building in half. You know, all of a sudden an earthquake happens, Zoro has Conqueror's Haki. I don't think that's a crazy series of events to lead to that, right? It's like, no, I think that's a fair conclusion that Brooke arrived to, right? So everyone's like, his rage broke the stadium, you know, so they're all jumping out of it, trying to not die. And they realize pretty quick, though, this was not Zoro's doing. It's something happening with the whole island. Although I do love they went to that conclusion. I'm happy that Oda included that, you know? He's like, alright, the freaking Zoro's yell shakes the whole island. It would make sense that Brooke would arrive to the conclusion, and like other people would arrive to the conclusion, maybe Zoro finally awakened Conqueror's Haki, because that's a popular theory. A lot of people are thinking about that, right? A lot of people are thinking Zoro is going to get it. For a long time, I didn't think he was going to, because I always assumed, like, Luffy, he's the captain, only he can have it. But that whole thing is broken pretty quickly when you realize that Roger had Conqueror's Haki, so did Rayleigh, and, you know, they were, you know, Rayleigh was the first mate, so you can have more than than one Conqueror's Hockey user on a crew. It's not like there's a rule against that. You know, of course, Conquerors is kind of Luffy's thing, but then again, Zoro wants to be the greatest swordsman in the world, right? So I guess it would make sense that he also gets it. So he doesn't quite have it, but who knows? This might be foreshadowing for later. You know, 50, 60 chapters down the line, we might have a scene where Zoro is about to do something cool, and another earthquake happens, and it's like, oh, is it Kaido again? I'm like, no, no, no. This time it's for real. This time it's my Conquerors. That would be cool, right? So keep this in mind. Keep this scene in mind. That little joke they were making. Like, oh, Zoro, do you have Conquerors? Yo, ho, ho, ho. I think this might come back. This might call back at some point. So, Zoro, he's like, this isn't me, this is something else going on with the island. Robin approaches Zoro and says, you know, Zoro, I know why you were so pissed. I know why you're so enraged right now. It's because that thing that fell from the sky, from the roof when Big Mom went up, it was Okiku's arm. And it cuts over and it sees that, yes, Okiku's samurai-clad arm is still on the ground. And they realize, like, oh, okay, the scabbards are losing. Or at least the scabbards are suffering some serious injuries, okay? So Zoro's like, I gotta get up there. I gotta help them. I promised them. I promised Hiyori. I'm gonna be the one to do this. And Luffy as well. We gotta get up there now. Not in 10 minutes, but now. Okay, but it's not going to be easy because they look up and the Queen is still there. He's pissed. King is still there. Not as pissed, but still pretty pissed. I think King is kind of already pissed. And so it's like neither route's going to be easy. You know, getting up through the air because King is a Pteranodon, and also getting up through like the way that Luffy's going, that's not going to be easy either, but they got to get up there, right? Man, if only they had, like, I'll tell you what would be perfect right now. Absolutely perfect. If they had some sort of like, I don't know, some sort of like flying phoenix mythical zone user doctor arriving on the scene, that would definitely help out. Marco arrives on the scene. Marco shows up. He flies in and he's like, I guess he just left Perospero to Wanda and Carrot, and I don't think that it's like, oh, okay, I think Wanda and Carrot should be able to deal with Perospero by themselves. I threw out the idea maybe Marco could stay behind and help, but I don't think Marco's really needed here. Perospero's tough, but, you know, he's like 50 years old, he's missing an arm, he's already been, you know, beaten down a few times today. I think Carrot and Wanda and their Sulongs, I think they got this, honestly. Honestly, if you want to say just Carrot in her Sulong against Perospero, I would still maybe give odds on Carrot there, you know, but at any rate, I think they got this handled. So Marco, I don't think that fight is over yet. I think Marco is just like, all right, I'll just leave it to you guys. Bye. He flies into the hallway, and he notices the Straw Hats all hanging out here, and he's like, hey, Straw Hats, you guys are like the strongest here, right? Like, you know, leave this to like the samurai and like the lower leveled fighters. You know, you guys should be on the roof right now. And so I think Marco is going to definitely help them out. He's like, do you need some help? You know, anything I can help out with? You know, oh, I noticed there's a bunch of demons everywhere that are ice. Hold on, let me use fire. That's an easy solution to that. Maybe the Phoenix Fire could slow the spread or revitalize the lost tissue or something, and then that gives Chopper enough time to make the antibody and like distribute it to everybody. And then after that whole thing is over, they can deal with maybe Chopper and, you know, Brook dealing with a Toby Roppo, or who's gonna fight Queen or whatever. Marco can also fly, so maybe he can give it a shot. Maybe he can help out Zoro. Like, I'm just gonna, you know, pick up Zoro, and then King goes to kind of cut Marco off, and then he's like, all right, Zoro, I'm just gonna throw you. I'm like, okay. And then like, whoosh, just throws Zoro toward the roof while Marco tangles with King. You know, King, you know, is apparently like the strongest member of Kaido's crew, I guess, right after Kaido and right after Yamato. I'm assuming it would be King. And then, of course, after that, Marco is the first division commander of the Whitebeard crew. Used to be, anyway. Used to be the captain of the Whitebeard crew after Whitebeard died. So that would be a pretty cool battle to see Marco and King go at it, and they can both fly. I don't know why I ever thought about that before. Yeah, I'm sure some people did. I just never considered it. But at any rate, yeah, they know things are kind of dangerous, so they got to get there, right? And so we continue on with the last page of the chapter. Everybody is just noticing the island shaking. Most people are freaking out. A few members of the Toby Roppo, like Black Maria, is just kind of there, really chill, like, oh, he's so impatient. Kid is noticing it. You know, Jean Bart and the other members of the Heart crew that are still, they're kind of like circling the island in the polar tank, trying to find a place to dock. They're noticing it. Rocks are falling into the water. They got to make evasive maneuvers. Hyogoro is like, is the island sinking? You know, what's going on? So now we cut outside where the whole island is shifting and shaking. Yamato finally makes it outside with Momonosuke and Shinobu in tow. They're all heading toward the end of the island to the coast to try to get off the island. They reach the shore and they notice there are no boats here. Strange. It's weird that there's no boats here. Oh, by the way, there's also no ocean. Huh. Well, don't that beat all? Don't that just... That's, you know, that's the one thing you expect at the shore is ocean, you know? You get there and it's nothing. Actually, there's fire down there. What the hell's going on? So Momo and Shinobu have no idea what's going on. So Yamato kind of clues them in. Yamato explains... Dragons are able to manipulate something called flame clouds, and this is how they fly, and this was the explanation given on how Kaido can fly. He doesn't fly under his own power, he doesn't have wings, he flies by making these flame clouds and walking on them. And Yamato goes on to say that Kaido is probably using this power finally to not just make himself fly, he is lifting up the entirety of the island of Onigashima into the sky. So we pan out, and sure enough, the entire island is surrounded by flame clouds, lifted out of the ocean, and is now being ferried across the water toward mainland Wano. And Kaido is up there at the top. We don't get to see the scabbards. They're very tiny panels, but I don't think we see the scabbards really at all. It's just Kaido standing in just this wasteland, just the devastation of the top of the Skull Mountain that's just been ravaged by their battle. And Kaido's there, and he's just like, you know, we've now begin the rise of new Onigashima. You know, the era of Kozuki is over. You know, it begins now. The age of this pirate empire. And end of chapter. Let me check if there's a break next week. I didn't check. There is a break next week. Damn it. Okay, well, that's okay. But that's still, it was a crazy ending, but still, sucks there's a break next week. Okay, so... there's only one way I could sum this up. Are you guys ready? Are you guys ready for the payoff? Okay. Guys, Barry, this is nuts. Thank you, everyone! Good night! Okay, so, it is nuts. I mean, that is an accurate explanation. Okay, so it's not a giant robotic crab, but Kaido is literally lifting the entirety of Onigashima and going to drop it down probably right in the middle of the flower capital. So you got a giant foreboding skull muffin in the center of Wano, or New Onigashima. So this was something that was brought up before. It was brought up when Kaido killed Orochi, and he's like, I'm gonna make a new pirate empire. But then, like, the raid happened, and, you know, Kaido got attacked, and everything was just kind of like, oh, well, I guess that's gonna be put on hold for right now. Kaido's just like, you know what, I beat down the Kozukis. Presumably they're all defeated, not dead, but maybe some of them are knocked unconscious, they can't get back up, or maybe more of them are missing limbs beyond just Okiku, I don't know. But Kaido's like, you know, screw this, I'm doing this now, I put a plan in motion, I'm doing it, damn it. Makes the flame clouds appear, lift up the island, and so a lot of other people were thinking, like, you know, when Kaido talked about moving Onigashima to the capital to make this new empire, this pirate paradise, was he being figurative with that? Was he actually just talking about, like, oh, I'm just gonna move my base of operations to Wano, I'm not gonna physically move the island? But this is One Piece, of course, so I immediately thought, like, oh, he's definitely gonna move that damn island. That island is moving. So that came like the giant mechanical crab idea. Kaido, could you maybe, like, if you could control the flames, could you maybe make the flames into the shape of a giant crab? I'll take that. I'll take that much. Okay. So he's using the flames. I don't know how long this is going to take. How fast does dragon fire move? I don't know. This might be a thing where it's like, all right, nobody can get off the island now because you'll have to fall, you know, thousands of meters and probably die unless, you know, Geppo or some other technique to stop you. Can Yamato become a dragon? Because I'm thinking if Yamato can become a dragon, then Yamato still might be able to leave. I guess Yamato also could just be a half-dragon, depending on, you know, the mother, of course. So, maybe that Yamato can turn into dragon, like the teeth and the claws, but can't fly. It might be something like that. Or it could just be a dinosaur zone, but I like the idea Yamato is a dragon, definitely. And so, Yamato definitely knows more about this. So, you know, we're gonna find out more about maybe the dragon fire, and maybe there's a way to, you know, defeat Kaido, or at least extinguish the flames. But you gotta be careful, because if you extinguish those flames, if you, like, this is kind of on a timetable now, right? Because the island is moving across the water. There's still a time, if you defeat Kaido and the flames disappear, the island will just plop back in the water, although that would probably create a giant tsunami, which could also ravage the island. But you definitely don't want that thing falling apart over land, is what I'm saying, right? So, yeah, I'm thinking that Kaido is at least going to succeed on this. I'm kind of feeling it. I think that Kaido is going to move the capital, well, he's going to move, Onigashima over the capital, crash it down. I think that is going to happen, and they're just going to have to deal with the new geography after the arc is over, right? Can you imagine all the people just cheering and having a good time on the mainland? Like, yeah, fire festival, look, look, look. And the two guys, they're drunk, they're wandering home at like 3 o'clock in the morning. They're just like, man, that was a great festival. Man, I hope we don't have to go back and work in the fields tomorrow. This would be cool if we could just drink forever. And they look up at the sky and they just see this giant skull Muffin. It's like, hey, Bill, does that look like a giant skull to you? Nah, Bert. Just looks like a giant muffin. Oh man, I could go for some muffins right now. Damn straight. Let's go to the muffin shack and get some muffins. And then the giant thing just... So people are probably going to die from this. Yeah. But yeah, Kaido was being very, very literal when he meant that. Of course, it makes sense. He wants to rule over this island as a pirate paradise. I mean, you need to have the giant skull fortress as your home base and just plop it right down. I mean, that'll show people who's in charge, really. One more thing I wanted to mention about Onigashima, just because of the fact that there was a giant skull on the mountain, like the skull was the mountain, I think a lot of people thought, what if the rest of the island, like underneath it, is the rest of the body of the giant, right? That would have been really cool, right? Like if you just dig down deep enough, it's like the skull on the mountain, and then the rest of it is like the arms and the bones and everything are just like underneath the ground. And so it's like this giant amongst giants when fully resurrected. That's clearly not the case. The whole island is lifted up and there's nothing underneath it. It's just an island, okay? So, yeah. Maybe it was a thing where whatever ancient giant created that skull maybe was fighting in the water and then died, and then it fell, and then its head landed on the island, and then just over the years it decomposed, just like how on Little Garden the Sea King carcasses decomposed and made the skull mountains, right? Not just the bone mountains made of Sea King bones. So it might have been something here where like the giant fell on the island, like, ugh, and then the skull just became the mountain there on Onigashima, and the rest of the bones of the giant just sank to the bottom of the ocean. They're not actually, like, connected to it or anything, like a fossil, but that would have been cool, I just have to say. Alright, so, yeah, Zoro's pissed, Marco's there. I kind of want to see that happen. I kind of want to see just Marco pick up Zoro, toss him into the freaking hole, in the, hole in one, Zoro, and arrive at the roof, and then Zoro's there with Kaido. Meanwhile, Marco deals with King. Chopper finishes up the antibody. Maybe some other members of Kaido's crew and Orochi's group, fight together with the Ally Alliance. And then maybe Who's Who shows up, and then he gets a battle. We resume the fight with Nami and Usopp with Page 1 and Ulti, and Tama, I guess, and Komachiyo are involved. And we pick up to see what's going on with Sanji, and then maybe Robin can do something with that, and Black Maria. We got a lot of different things going on right now, but I'm really kind of feeling, at least my opinion right now, is Oda is right about to lay down the pieces in their final placement. What I mean by that is, like, there was a lot of setup to all this, but I think we're going to get to a point where Oda's like, alright, these are all the battles we're doing right now. I'm locking in. We're going to focus on these for a while. Meaning, like, alright, we're going to see the fights with the Tobiropo. It's just going to be back-to-back. It's like Frankie's fight, Nami Usopp's fight, Sanji's fight, who's going to fight, whatever. We're going to get back-to-back-to-back-to-back-to-back fights, and then we're going to see what's up with the Calamities, and then move on to the final battle, which is against Kaido, of course. So, yeah, I'm thinking... Oh man, this would be crazy. What if, like, when Onigashima finally arrives in the Flower Capital and, like, lands there, if that's really what we're doing? Or, what if it's like this? What if, like, the island gets over the Flower Capital relatively quickly? Like, it doesn't take very long for Onigashima to, like, hover over the Flower Capital, and then Kaido, maybe at that point, Kid and Luffy and Zoro and Law all show up, and they're gonna fight him, and Kaido has, like, an ultimatum, kind of like a, sort of a game, but, he's just like, tell you what, I'm gonna drop this island right in the center of the Flower Capital. Thousands, maybe millions are gonna die just from the dropping of a mountain and the whole shockwaves and the earthquake, A lot of people are gonna die if I do it. I'm gonna drop this island. You got 10 minutes to fight me. Bring it on if you think you could beat me. And so it might be something like that where Luffy and the others are like on a timetable, like, let's do this! And they all charge in to fight Kaido, and then, like, you know, they have to fight him, and it's like, wait a second, I guess that wouldn't make sense, because if they beat Kaido, the island's gonna fall anyway. So, yeah. But Luffy probably wouldn't think that far ahead. Luffy would just be like, we have to defeat him before the island falls, so that after we defeat him, we save the island! Ah! You know, it might just be something like that. I could see Luffy making that connection. But anyway, crazy chapter, a lot of setup, break next week, but that's okay. I think we got some cool stuff coming up, and chapter 1000 is only like 37 chapters away. We're almost there. Alright, thanks for watching, everybody. Tekking, Barry, Tekking's Pimple, and these cashews, signing out. I don't even like cashews. I'm not a fan. I'm more of an almond guy. These are my mom's.